Well a gine córa an gédal sias fircin fórse áras an Uachtarán agus áthas arm go raibh siad an tíocht is tréad slíam le bhásachtain méad aber atá córa isteach ag I héin hána blianta de iad sanna tá fallingach in éireann. Nuair éicim mar hímplar me féicim siomra lán de gine tá tar éis tiún gan mór dearfa go dhéanamh lena cuid aibre leanúna chun an fibrois cíisteach a chur I leor an énig I measc an phobal, I measc gormahan tar bhís lánta agus dar nó is an sil politúla. I'm so pleased that you were all able to come and thank you very much for coming. You're most welcome to Áras an Uachtarán, as I have just said in Irish. As I look around the room, I see so many people who have put in so much work to, if you like, change the landscape in relation to cystic fibrosis by your continuous work to raise awareness among members of the public, to assure that those with cystic fibrosis are understood by healthcare professionals, and of course, and you are campaigners, so many of you, families and advocates, to change, if you like, the knowledge and the commitment from the political establishment, which has been important too. As a country, Martírin, we have the highest incidence of cystic fibrosis in the world. When I was reading that in my notes, I immediately put in after that of course that leaves us with special responsibilities in relation to our citizenship. If we are to be responsible in terms of inclusiveness, then we have to take those responsibilities seriously. According to the Cystic Fibrosis Registry of Ireland, there are 1,266 individuals registered with cystic fibrosis in Ireland, and 40 to 50 new diagnoses are made every year. And then, as I have met fathers and mothers and sisters and brothers of those who are no longer with us, I realise too, as well, that for every one of those diagnoses that I have just been mentioning, there are multiples of family members and friends who are affected, and thus I'm very conscious of the major impact this disease has on the lives of so many of our Irish citizens. I was very moved as well that not only have we immediate relatives here, but also those who were friends of those who had cystic fibrosis, and how important, what an important sharing of friendship that is. And then again, I think that you will all know, you don't need me to tell you, what the consequence of frequent hospitalizations and the lengthy and tiring journeys to principal hospitals are, in terms of this is a reality of life for many people with cystic fibrosis. And many of those living with cystic fibrosis have also experienced not only what I have just described in terms of the stress of journeys and the frequency of hospitalization, but the negative impact that has on the capacity to participate in education and training, and the many things which people take for granted. Limitations of costs and opportunities too in relation to the labour force. I think that what does all that mean? It means we must all the more admire those who assist and those who continue to achieve and forge fully independent lives. And I think as well, and as President of Ireland, I also want to say that when such effort is put in place, it's very important that the institutional structure of Ireland respond adequately. I'm thinking of the normal things that people apply for in relation to travel insurance, mortgages, and so forth. And in your campaigns for that, you have the support of the President of Ireland, I assure you. There's quite a distance that we have yet to travel before the major and significant barriers and obstacles to full participation are removed for those who are living with cystic fibrosis and those who are supporting them. It's a journey that I know you have been sharing, that you share now, will continue to share. I want to wish you well with all the voluntary work that you're doing in what you do by way of raising awareness and fundraising. I think that there's both a treasurer and an assistant treasurer. I said martyr number 1 and martyr number 2, but also there's a fundraiser and an assistant fundraiser, and then there's the voluntary sector. It is never easy, And also I do want to say, as President of Ireland, that such dedication is necessary now because we have to redress the needs now, but it should never be taken as an excuse or for removing the responsibility from the state and citizens in general to support the necessary changes that are necessary. The commitment and dedication in terms of time is enormous, and the advocacy, you have made significant gains in your advocacy. It has been instrumental in achieving better outcomes for affected individuals, and it has been an enormous source of confidence support to so many families around the country. People gathered here in this room are from all around the country, and your visit to the Áras an Uachtaráin today provides a welcome opportunity to take stock of the significant advances that have been secured for people with cystic fibrosis in recent years. As I've said, the journey is far from complete, but the journey has been well travelled. Steady gains in life expectancy have been achieved over the last 20 years, and thankfully the majority of individuals living with cystic fibrosis in Ireland are now adults. But on occasions like this, as you visit Áras an Uachtaráin and I've met their relatives, we think of those who have passed on too. The introduction of blood spot screening at birth has been a very significant step forward, leading as it does to earlier diagnosis, giving great hope for improved quality and length of life for people with cystic fibrosis into the future. And then the specialist treatment centre, they have evolved, and Ireland has amassed world-class experience in the management of this condition. I think there are very positive stories as well that we can note. The individual stories of determination and success of our Irish citizens with cystic fibrosis. Ivan Scully from County Meath not only competed in the Dublin Marathon in October, but set a new European record for individuals with cystic fibrosis at that event. Orla Tinsley from County Kildare won a scholarship to Columbia University in the United States, while at the same time campaigning tirelessly for cystic fibrosis as a journalist and as an author. And I think these heroes represent the many others, including many of you in the room today, who've refused to allow their lives to be defined by their illness, but have constantly pushed the boundaries to realise further possibilities. Agus gam bhuichas mar Uachtaráin a héireann, iad san atá caró sa caró. The am isteach agus an méid atá si bheith dhéanamh mar a gúirt mé riad san atá fellingach. I think people like yourselves who are assisting, who are foresight, who are advocates, and I made those who have cystic fibrosis are showing such determination and vision of a better world, but also a will that I think a new reality is capable of being brought into being, as in fact as we look forward very much to the changes and the transformations which will take place. I want to just congratulate all of you, and I also say as well, and I have to repeat it, that the voluntary sector in Ireland draws our attention regularly to the gap that exists between us and the full participation of all of our citizens. But it having been identified by the voluntary sector, and in cooperation as it is with the HSE and other bodies, we must make sure, if you like, that the state responds by accepting all of its responsibilities. Much has been achieved, as I've said. Much remains to be done if we are to improve the quality of life for people with cystic fibrosis. Agus gam gachragus gachragus banach dore agus shiv shek émacht don táki. I so wish you well into the future in everything that you're doing. And it's heartening and encouraging to see the continued improvements in care for this condition. And while we're cognizant of that, we can look forward, I think, with optimism to a better future for our citizens who live with cystic fibrosis. In this room here and in the other room, in place on occasions like today, we're appointing a Supreme Court judge, High Court judge, or whatever. I do want to say to those of you who, parents and relatives and advocates and others, there are no more important people. There's no one more welcome in Áras an Uachtaráin than yourselves. And I want to wish you well with everything that you're doing. And I see all of what you're doing is very much putting into practice what I've often spoken about in some of my speeches, achieving in the name of a real republic a full citizenship, where every obstacle that stands in the way of the full participation in the society will be perceived as something that has to be removed to achieve full citizenship. Arish, Míle buíochas asach tíocht agus tá fircin fáilte romh. Thank you for coming to see me. And may I wish you well and every success in everything that you have been doing. Thank you for what you've been doing and wish you well in all of your work for the future. Míle buíochas, thank you.